Hi, everybody, and a very big welcome to lesson number 2 of our online piano and keyboard series with Casio. Thank you, first of all, to everybody that got in touch to say how much they enjoyed the first lesson. We've had lots of comments, lots of feedback, and thank you for sending in all those and your videos too, showing us how you've done. Don't forget that if you have any questions about the series, anything you'd like us to cover, or anything that you'd like a little bit more help with, of course, do leave us a comment. And tag people that you think might find these lessons useful. But anyway, let's have a very brief recap over lesson number 1. So we started off last lesson looking at the keyboard, and we went right back to basics, and we said, of course, that one of the easiest ways to find your way around the keyboard is to have a look at the pattern of the keys here. We've got white keys and we've got black keys. We introduced you to the note C, which is this one here. And we said that C is always to be found to the left of 2 black notes. It's very, very easy to find the note C. And then we put all our right hand fingers on next door notes. And we worked on the following notes. We said C, D, E, F, and G. So let's go straight into it, and let's do a little bit of playing first of all. And don't forget that a great way of getting a really good handshake when you're playing the piano is when you sit down, first of all, shake your hands, make them nice and relaxed and floppy like this, no tension whatsoever. And if you're seated at the piano, as you should be like this, I guess, you can lift your hand up and place it on the keys like that. And what you should find is that your fingertips are playing the keys like this. And that's a really good handshake, if you can see that there. Okay, so let's go over to the keyboard. So what I'd like you to do first of all is find me middle C, which is this one here, okay? Very roughly in the middle of your piano or your keyboard. And it should sound like this when you play it. Let's go ahead and play middle C. Okay, now what we're going to do next is I would like you to copy what I play. Very simply like this. Okay, now try 4 notes. That was 5, wasn't it? 5 notes instead. Let's try for 5. Here we go. Okay, so there you played C, D, E, F, and G. Okay. All right, now this time we've got a couple of exercises. I've got some backing tracks here. I'd like you to echo what I play. Here we go. We're going to always start with our thumb on C. And here we go. And. And. Okay, and we'll do a couple more. And this time, I'm going to help you a little bit. Let's just turn the tempo down of my backing track a little bit. And I'm going to tell you what the notes are to play. So let's just try this one more time. So, C, D, E, F, G, G. You try C, D, E, F, G, G. Good. C, D, C, D, C. Your go. C, D, C, D, C. And one more. Here we go. C, D, E, D, C, C. Your go. C, D, E, D, C, C. Great. Okay. Well, I hope that was all fairly straightforward and you're confident now with finding C, D, E, F and G on the keyboard. Now, one of the things that I'd really like to try and do in this series of 6 lessons is not only to get you to feel comfortable playing pieces on the keyboard, but also to start to read music. Now, it's like learning any language, of course. There are many, many levels to it. And of course, you know, you can spend literally many years studying to read and play music. But the good news is you don't have to play, you don't have to study it to that level of complexity to actually really enjoy what you're doing and to really, see some good results. So today I'm going to introduce to you a little bit about how we read music, and I'm going to focus really on how we measure the lengths of musical beats. You may have noticed there when we played a little bit. I'll play this bit for you here. Have a listen to the notes, and what I want you to think about is, are all the notes the same length, or are some notes longer than others? Okay, let's just try this. Okay, well, you probably heard there that not all the notes were the same length. So then how do you describe it? You could say short, 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 long, long. You could do that, but the thing is, it's a bit like saying how long's a piece of string. We need a good way of measuring it exactly. And we've got one. A lot of the time musicians talk about musical pulse, and I like to describe things as always having a musical heartbeat. We've obviously, of course, all got heartbeats, and when you take your pulse, you can feel your heartbeat. It's exactly the same thing with music. We always measure musical notes in terms of the number of beats they last for. So if I was going to apply that to what I just played, you could probably hear there that it was 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. So those last two notes were double the length. Did you hear that? Now, there are various different ways that you can describe lengths of notes. Some musicians tend to do it by saying 1, 2, 3, 4. There are other systems. I think today an easy way to introduce you to this is think about notes that are lasting for one beat, like these. Let's call those tar, okay? This is based upon a European system. And the notes that last for two beats are going to be called tar-ar. So tar, 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 tar-ar, tar-ar. Okay? Now, the thing is, we've obviously got to write that down somewhere. So I've prepared here a little diagram to show you. Okay, now what you can see there, of course, is some musical notes. Some are coloured in and others aren't. And you can see I've got 4 notes there that are coloured in and 2 notes that aren't coloured. So if I actually, this applies to what I've just played. The black notes are what we call tar, and the white notes, or the notes that aren't coloured in, are called tar-ar. They last for 2 beats. So that's a representation of what I've just played. Tar, 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 tar-ar, tar-ar. And I've played it. I read this from left to right, just like reading normal text. So we do this in exactly the same way. And if I played from left to right, I get 4 tars and 2 tar-ars. So tar, 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 tar-ar, tar-ar. Like that. Okay, I hope that kind of made some sense, because what I've got for you next is a little exercise. So I've got down here a little window of 4 panels, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play one of those panels, and I'd like you to think about which one I could have played. So this is a multiple choice question. Here we go. Here's the first one. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Tar, 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 tar. Okay, so which one do you think I played? Listen to it again. Tar, 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 tar. Well, the answer was it was the top left, because all the 4 notes were the same length and they all lasted for 1 beat. Let's try one more. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Tar, tar, tar. Here it is again. Ready, go. Tar, tar, Okay, well, hopefully you found the answer. It's the top right. I had ta, ah, ta, ta. So the notes that aren't coloured in, they always last for ta, ah, and the ones that are coloured in are ta, ta. Okay, so a little introduction to reading music, and I hope that's made sense. Of course, you can always rewind this video after we've finished our session together. Have a little look at it and try and see if you might better work out particularly what those other rhythms were on the lower half of that last screen. Okay, so going back to lesson number 1, you may remember that we finished off last week with a little dedication to a very famous composer from a few years ago. Actually, 250 years ago marked his birthday. It was Beethoven, and we started to learn this piece. Now, I hope you've had some time during the week to practice it. If you haven't and you still need to look at it, don't worry, it's available in lesson number 1. But I thought we could do a little bit of a recap. I think the first thing to say is that where we left off in our last session, we didn't actually finish the whole piece. So I'm going to start off by playing you the whole piece. And what I want you to listen for is listen for repetition. A lot of music repeats on itself. Now, if you listen to the radio or you stream music and you listen to very commercial popular stuff, you'll know that a lot of songs, they rely on repetition. It's the same verse chorus. Classical music doesn't always do that, but it has a lot of things that are common to the same thing. With this piece, you'll find that it repeats. Have a listen. I'm going to play the whole piece. So let's call this section A. Section B. So did you hear there that actually section B, it wasn't really a new section at all. In actual fact, it's only the last 3 notes that change. So I thought what we could do is maybe just practice that last bit, okay, the last half of the piece that we didn't cover in particular detail last session. So let's have a look at the keys. So by now you hopefully have got this part together. Here's the new bit. And I just said that actually the last part, the last 3 notes, are the only difference. It goes at the very end. So what I want you to do is in your practice now, think about this as being section B, okay? It's not replacing what you've learnt, because you've learnt the first half. This is the second half. And what we're going to do is we'll use the same technique as we did in our last lesson, which is for me to play a part and then you echo it like this. And we're going to start off with our thumb over C and put all our fingers on next door notes like this. We're going to begin with the 3rd finger on E, okay? And we're going to begin, and it will seem very familiar. It is starting in the same way. 3, 3, 4, 5. 3, 3, 4, 5. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2. 5, 4, 3, 2. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 1. You try. 2, 1, 1. Okay, here it is again. And again, this is section B. This is the last half of the piece. Ready? 3, 3, 4, 5. You try. 3, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2. 5, 4, 3, 2. 1, 1, Okay, now this time I'm going to join those phrases together. So we're doing exactly the same part of the piece, just the phrases have got double the length. Here we go. 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. You try. 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. That's 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1. Okay, right. Now, before we try and put this all together, let's try from the very beginning of the piece. So you want to go right back in your mind to the very beginning of the music. And we're going to play section A and then section B. Okay? Now, for this, I'm going to leave the camera on this aspect because I want you to listen more than I want you to watch my fingers, because I think if you listen to the piece, it's going to stick in our brains a lot better than trying to watch and copy what I do as we go along. So listen to this, and then we'll look at the keyboard. Here we go. So in phrases, it goes 1, 2, here we go. So 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. Section B. Okay, I think listen to the piece one more time, and then I think we'll practice it. Here we go. Okay, are you ready? So now it's your turn. And what we're going to do first of all is we're going to play it twice. The first time we play it, we're going to play it in echoes. So let me show you what I mean by echoes. We've done this before, but here we go. So I play a phrase and then you play a phrase. But we're going to play through the whole piece. Okay? Here we go. You'll go. And section B. Okay, how did you do? Well, if you managed to keep up with every phrase, well done. That's really good. If perhaps a couple of phrases weren't quite there, don't worry. It's fine. It's going to take practice. And again, you can rewind this to have another go. So I think what we're going to do next is we're going to finish off Ode to Joy by playing the whole piece, me and you, at the same time. So this is going to be all the way through. And let's see how we go. I'm just going to change my backing track. Here we go. And we'll just check the speed before we begin to make sure we know how fast we're going to play. Okay. Okay. Right. We're nearly ready. Are you ready? So make sure you've got your third finger over E like this. This is the hand shape that you need. Okay, let's try this. Here we go. I'll count you in. And then we start off. Ready, go. Okay, there we go. So I hope that kind of worked. Again, if it didn't work out, have a little think about the bits that aren't going quite well, and maybe just focus on learning those particular areas. But anyway, I hope that's great. That's our first piece completed. We're going to try another one today as well, and it's a similar sort of piece of music. It uses again the 5 notes that we've learnt: C, D, E, F, and G. But we've got another one to do. Now, do you remember in lesson number 1 where I actually said that the white keys borrow their names from the alphabet? And we said C, D, E, F, and G. So we found C. For our next piece, what we're going to do actually is we're going to go in this direction. We're going to go from C and we're going to go down a step. Okay, find that note on your piano or your keyboard. So first of all, find your C and then play this one. Let's just alternate those two. C, B, C, B, C, B. Okay, so you found B. There we go. Great. Now we're going to need that, okay, for this next piece. And the piece I've chosen to do, it's a little tribute actually to Bill Withers. It's called Lean on Me. Obviously, we're not going to learn the whole song together. Perhaps haven't got time for that. But let's just do perhaps the first part, the really nice bit that you hear at the beginning of the record. Remember, it does this. Then it repeats. So, did you hear 2 things there? The first one was that, like Ode to Joy, there was a lot of repetition. You could clearly hear perhaps that the piece was in 2 halves. That's good for memorization. And did you also notice at the very end there, we used that lower note, B, 1 step below C. In actual fact, what might be quite a nice idea, and a good musical tip, is if when you're playing a piece of music, always look at the most difficult bit first, because once you get the most difficult bit, everything else seems a lot easier. So let's try this. Let's go over to the keys. And what I want you to do first of all is I'm going to get you to learn the ending first. I know it sounds really crazy, but let's do the ending first. We're going to put our thumb on C, exactly the same hand position as you've done for Ode to Joy to start with. And we're going to begin on C. Now what we need is this. C, D, E, and then our thumb stretches down. Can you see that? It actually moves from C, where it started off, it goes to B like this. So, okay. So that's a really important lesson here. And that's that, when you're playing the piano, your fingers and your hand will have to move. So this is the very first step in that. Do this with me again. Here we go. Have a listen first and then you play. Okay. So what we're doing there is just have a look at that one more time. C, D, E, B, C. Okay, are you ready to try? Let's do this. Put your thumb on C first of all. Here we go. I'm going to count you in. Ready? 1, 2, ready, play. C, D, E, B, C. Let's try that again. Ready? Thumb on C. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. C, D, E, B, C. Okay? Okay. Right, that's the very end of the piece. Okay? The beginning bit, you probably noticed, actually, it's quite straightforward because, as with all great tunes, the simplicity is what makes it the best. Watch this. We're going to start off again on thumb on C. So at the beginning of the piece, let's do this first of all. Okay, here it is again. Okay, I'm just going to have a look at the backing track. Whilst I'm doing that, perhaps you could have a practice. Have a little go at that. Okay, now this time we'll do that same phrase, but you'll hear just a very simple drum track, because when we're playing we really have to keep to a pulse all the time. So let's just try this. Same phrase. Ready? And C. That's great. Let's try that again. C, C, D, E, F. Okay, this time let's play it as echoes. I play first, then you follow me. Ready, steady, and me play. Now it shall go. Ready, play. C, C, D, E, F. Okay, great. That's the first phrase. So after this, we come down. Okay, I don't think we need to practice that bit, do we really? Let's put that together. So from the beginning of the piece, okay, let's do a couple of echoes on that. Are you ready? I'll play first, then you. Ready, me. Here we go. Good. Okay. Right, now the next bit. Okay, here's the next phrase. It's very similar, but we don't go quite as high up on the keys. Okay, like this. Here's the next bit. Okay, have a look at that again. Have a listen. Okay, now it's your turn. I'll play it one more time and then you copy me. Okay, right, are you ready? 1, 2, me first. Now it shall go. 1, 2, here we go. That's it. Okay, let's have a little recap of where we are. So we're going to go back to the beginning now. Have a listen to this. Okay, right, do you think you're ready to try that all together? I think so. Here's the click. Play as echoes, me first. Whoops. Okay. And now it shall go. Here we go. C. C, D, E, F. And then back down. F, E, D, C. C, D, E. C, D, E. E. And D. Okay. That's the first half of the piece. Now this time I want you to do exactly the same thing again. But I've changed camera angles because actually I don't want you to look at the keys. Okay, this time I want you to listen to the backing track, play along with me, okay, and I want you to focus purely on your keyboard or your piano at home. So don't really look at the screen. I want you to listen to the music and we're going to play together. So we've actually managed to get up to halfway point on Lean On Me. So let's try this. Ready? Okay, so let's make sure your thumb is ready to play on C, your starting note. Okay, you ready? Here we go. C, C, D, E, F, F, E, D, C, C, D, E, E, D. Okay? All right, how was that? Well, I hope that made most sense. I hope you kind of got a good idea. Maybe you might need to just brush up on the timing, practice it a bit. Okay? Now, I said earlier that actually this piece is in two halves, and the two halves are very, very similar. The second half of the piece does this. Now, do you remember we practiced the ending at the beginning of this session? So actually that last bit should hopefully sound a little bit familiar. Let's take a very quick look at the last part. Okay, so this is section B, our second half of the piece. Do you notice there that we did the little thumb moving down? Okay, so there's just time for me to play the whole piece through, and then we're going to do it with a backing track, and then I'll leave you to practice that till I see you in lesson 3. So here is the whole piece, the whole Lean On Me song. Going to start with a thumb on C. And here we go. Ready? 1, 2, just listen. 3, 4. Okay, that's the whole piece. Now, we're just going to finish off today by playing the whole thing all the way through. And we're going to play it to a little backing track here. So here we go. I'm not going to talk over this because it might be quite nice if you want to use this for a little bit of a backing track this week while you're practicing. Okay, so let's have a look at the keys. There they are. And let's put a thumb on C. There we go. Okay. All right, are you ready? So you hear the count in, and let's play together. Everyone playing at the same time. Okay, here we go. Okay, great job. I hope that's been enjoyable. Just one last thing that you can do, actually. If you mastered that right hand and you're looking for another challenge, what you could do is try and play exactly the same thing with the left hand. Now, this is optional, so don't worry. We'll talk about this a little bit more next time I see you. But what you could do is, instead of playing here with the right hand, okay, remember that we number our fingers when we're playing the piano? We say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Well, that kind of does the same thing with the left hand as well. We can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our fourth finger, my ring finger, and I'm not going to play here on C. I'm going to play this C down here. And I'm going to use fourth finger. You'll see why in a second. And I can play exactly the same song. Listen. And once I've practiced it, I can actually then use both hands to play together. And it sounds really nice. It sounds a little bit like this. So there you go. There's an extra challenge for you if you feel like it. But if you want to, just concentrate on just playing the right hand. Till I see you next time. I hope that's been useful. Just again, a reminder that all our lessons in this Casio Live series are available on Facebook and also on our YouTube channel as well. And don't forget, if you have any questions or if you'd like to ask me about anything or any suggestions for the next few lessons in this series, we'd really like to hear from you. So do get in touch. Let us know how you're getting on with things. And I hope that's been useful. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. So I enjoy practicing. I'll see you soon. Take care.